It's episode 138 of Grow Yourself Up. And I've come back from the recording break for a few episodes before coming back properly in autumn, because I think that the summer holiday time can be such a complex time for parents. And I wanted to share a few things that I'm hoping you can keep in mind over the holiday period so that you can maintain your sanity. And so I know that in the US, people are already on holiday. It's the end of June in London, and the long summer holidays have started for some schools, I think. But I wanted to talk to you about a concept that I use a lot in our family, which I've adapted from something from Brené Brown. And I use it because it really helps to provide ourselves with context and to de-shame things. So the concept is, Brené Brown talks about something called fucking first times, which I love, that fucking first times. And basically, fucking first times are hard because they are the first time. So anytime you do something for the first time, it's hard because you don't know what to expect. You're not sure of the context. You're not sure of like the other people involved. If you go into a place, you're not sure of the layout. You're not sure how long it'll take to get there. You're not sure about what food options will be there. Where will the loos be? What will the, say if it's a holiday place, what will the swimming pools be like? What will the beds be like? You're not sure of any of that stuff. And so first times are hard. First times of anything. It could be the first trip to a new supermarket that your child finds hard. It could be the first trip if you've moved house to the supermarket for you, which you find hard. And so this concept of fucking first times, she calls it an FFT, is something that I think can be really, really helpful in parenting, particularly if you have children who struggle with transitions, if anyone identifies as being neurodiverse, because often transitions and first times can be tricky. And if you are sensitive and find new things difficult, this might also really help you. I mean, I think generally it's first times can be hard for people, but if someone is more resilient and more confident in their ability to cope, then it might impact them less. It might also just be that they're avoidant, but so let me talk about how helpful this can be. Often, one of the things about parenthood that is complicated is the expectations we have of both ourselves and our children. And this comes to the fore particularly in holidays often, because this is a time when you've been working hard, you constantly work hard doing unpaid labor and paid labor. And now you're hoping to get to a place in the year where you can relax, have a bit of a break, maybe go on holiday, maybe you're going camping, maybe you're flying somewhere, whatever you're doing. There's an expectation that it'll be different and hopefully better than your home life. And sometimes holidays are actually much worse than home life for multiple reasons. And that can feel very, very crushing and very bizarre to admit as well, especially considering, let me speak about myself. So I am safe. I live in a safe country. I'm not grappling with my survival on a daily basis. So to then complain about holidays feels kind of ungrateful. And I want you to know that your stuff matters. So I have used this with my girls. I've made it more child-friendly by calling it funny first times. So I talk about funny first times with my girls a lot because going to places for first times, I find tricky and difficult sometimes. I like to know where the loos are. I like to know what are the snack options. Should I take stuff for my children or could we actually buy something there? I like to know how long is it going to take me to get there? Where will I park? How will I manage them if they're both having a meltdown? What sort of support is there? I mean, not support from other people, but is there a cafe? Are there lots of loos? Is there lots of lovely big open space that we can run in? And if I don't know that, because it's my first time, I find I get, it makes me feel more anxious. It's fun to go places when it's your first time with other people who've been there before so they can guide you. And you've heard me say this before on the podcast that we are a better second time around family. And we have often holidays in the same places or do the same things repeatedly because then we know the drill. And some of you may be extremely adventurous and have no problem with all these transitions. and be very confident in your ability to cope. But I want you to kind of think about, because why this is really important, I think, is because what happens is if we have a bad first time, often we take that as evidence of something. We take that as evidence of, we can't do this. My children can't do this. I can't do this. I'm somehow bad. I was ineffective. I arranged this wrong. Our family are not adventurous, or they can't manage this type of thing. So you layer stories on top of a tricky first time. And that's not necessary. A lot of the things that you're facing may be much better second time, but you have to persevere and develop enough resilience to tolerate a tricky first time and to know, okay, so this might be a little bit more difficult than another time, or a place that we know already, purely because it's the first time. And it's really, really relevant for children, because if we have a high expectation of things, and then their behavior, if they have a meltdown or there's lots and lots of feelings, and their behavior seems to, in inverted commas, ruin it, then we can think to ourselves, right, I'm never going to go back there. That's it. Done. We can't do these sort of things. And I want you to move past that and to begin to be able to notice, okay, this was an FFT. We're going to try again. Next time it will be better. I remember when we went on a holiday to like a lovely resort, which I would consider really expensive. And so it felt like a real treat. And I was hoping that I would be really relaxed and really enjoy it. And our kids didn't go to kids club, and they didn't eat any of the food. And their food, whether or not they eat, really, I get quite stressed about that still, even though I'm 9 years into this, and I know that they are big enough and robust enough, and that they can cope if they don't eat much. I get kind of stressed and a bit antsy about it. And it takes me a while to ease into, okay, it takes me a while to connect again to the fact that if I am going on about it, I am much more likely to stress them out, so in which case they won't eat. And indeed, that'll cause a whole lot of issues if I'm being over-controlling with food or trying to manage things. But my own panic and fear, that alarm system in my amygdala kicks in. And so I really have to kind of tend to myself around that and let them have their own experience. But we went to this place with full of expectation and projection about how it would be. And when my kids don't eat, I find that just really stressful. And it kind of, I'm still in a process of kind of letting that be part of the experience, and I'm still allowed to have a nice time. And so, yeah, that was the first time though for them. And they find first times tricky. They need to get more comfortable with things. They need to kind of understand how it works. They need more of the context of the place. They need to kind of knowing the lay of the land is very comforting. And like as the holiday on that particular place progressed, it did get a lot better, and they did eat mostly chips and bread. And we have now subsequently been to that place again, and it got much, much, much better. In the beginning, I would travel with peanut butter and oatcakes, because those were good things that they would eat. So that at least I knew they were eating something, and like almonds, I think. But the projection that I had was that this would all go well, that they would love to eat in hotels, that they would kind of be able to integrate and adjust quickly. And the thing about struggling with transitions and FFTs is that we need scaffolding from our parents, and we ourselves may need scaffolding. I like to know where I'm going. I like to know like the layout of the place. I think some of this is connected to increased anxiety and perimenopause, to be honest, because I don't remember being so worried about some of these things maybe 5 years ago. And children have also definitely impacted my ability to feel, yes, I've got this, because previously I would have thought I'll manage. And I might not have worried about it. So it is a multifaceted thing. So if you're in perimenopause, you might notice increased anxiety. And children, certainly, because there's more to take care of. And if they if they have a very restricted diet, or they find new foods or new textures complicated, then it's really worrying, because of course we don't want our children to starve. But so on that particular holiday, it really impacted my ability to enjoy myself, and I was kind of complaining about the holiday basically until this last 2 days. And in the last 2 days, I got more perspective, I got more philosophical, I got more trusting and more accepting, and I was able to really kind of ground into like more of a sense of safety, and to trust that they would be fine with this, whatever they were eating, and to allow myself to kind of let go. And this is a journey that we often go like over the same territory over and over and over again. So I really want you to just kind of be gentle with yourself, and be maybe a bit more realistic about holiday plans, and to allow that if it's a first time that you're going somewhere, it might be, maybe it's a bit less enjoyable. It might take more scaffolding from you for your children. You may require more scaffolding if you have a partner from them. You may need to know more context, and you may need more support around going to this place. And all of this might mean that, so if your children are sending you more signs of danger, you may feel more rage on an FFT. You may feel more anxious. You may feel more self-critical. You may think like, this is a terrible mistake. We've made a terrible mistake. You may have more kind of dramatic negative thoughts. And at least some of that is probably connected to the fact that it's the first time and you're learning the ropes. And this is beautifully echoed in motherhood, because to some extent we are all on an FFT all the time in motherhood, because even if you've had 6 children, each of those children is different, and every stage with each of those children is different. So we really have to weave in so much self-compassion. And I continuously return to the importance of flexibility. And one of the biggest aspects of growing ourselves up is that flexibility, and cultivating that flexibility and that self-trust that we can manage, and that our children can manage, and that we don't have to control their journey. We just do not have to control their journey. Now, this is something that I am still be confronted by in certain aspects, because we're dealing with some complex health issue stuff, and I'm trying to like fix everything. And I'm really pondering, what does it mean if I can't fix everything? What does that look like? And I've had to surrender and let go on various fronts. And so I think that in some sense, mothering and parenting is a continuous letting go and a continuous surrendering to new frontiers, essentially, and reparenting yourself alongside that. So not thinking, oh, we're a crap family, or oh, I'm a crap mother, or oh, this is just a disaster. Why did I do this? Instead, to think, okay, this is a new adventure. This is a new adventure we're trying. We came to this place. We are learning the ropes of this place, and it's difficult to tolerate process when you're a perfectionist. So really, like, hold in mind, we're going through a process. This is a growth and change process. We are on a first time if something's difficult, and we will know more for next time. And it might be that, there are many, many, many things in a holiday that might be a first time. If you are putting your children into a holiday club, my children went with some little friends to a holiday club in the last Easter holidays for a few days. And on the first day, they were both very excited, but on the first day, one of my children refused to go, basically. She was like sobbing. And I had planned to have some time with a friend. And then my daughter came with us. So it was me, my friend, and the daughter, one of my daughters. The other daughter was really happy to stay. And that was the first time. And then the next 2 days, she really loved it. She just was going for 3 days. And I felt disappointed on the first day because I wanted to have some time not with them. But we have to kind of continuously weaving in of flexibility, of reparenting ourselves, of validating, like me validating my disappointment and still being able to be present for my daughter in the ways that I want to be. And again, you are different to me, so you will have different values and different ways that you want to be there for your children. So notice what those ways are for you. Notice how you can be self-compassionate. Notice how you can parent in alignment with your values. and really like bring this language in. Use funny first times. Tell your children. And they now say it back to me. They say it's a funny first time. And it can be really helpful that we can all hold together. This may be tricky, and we're still going to go through it, and we're practicing. And that, if we think back to that window of tolerance concept from Dan Siegel, we are widening our window of tolerance when we give ourselves manageable amounts of stress that we can tolerate without completely flipping out, and we practice at that. So there's enough safety to tolerate that. So all these FFTs are widening your window of tolerance, and you don't need to layer up stories about being rubbish or being a failure or not being able to manage or not being adventurous or anything if things are tricky. If things are tricky, even on the second or the third or the fourth time, we have to be so careful with what stories we tell ourselves about ourselves. I want you to tell yourself a story of your resilience, of your robustness, of your increasing flexibility. You might still be on a journey there, and that's okay. So I'm just thinking about you all as you holiday with your treasures, and as you increase your windows of tolerance together and increase that self-compassion and increase the ability to tolerate new things. And there'll be 2 more episodes before a little summer break. Okay, I'm sending you so much love. Take really good care. Bye.